Ukrainian armed forces soldiers in the Volchansk region were exhausted after close-range combat and intended to use a building as a temporary staging point. First, let's look at the GoPro footage. Russian FPV drone operators targeted Ukrainian soldiers moving around the ruined buildings. Ukrainian soldiers destroyed the FPV drone by hitting it with light machine guns. Ukrainian forces then moved to attack Russian positions. However, Russian artillery is firing at them continuously.
Incoming!
Ukrainian drone operators sent drones loaded with ammunition one by one to target Russian soldiers, but Russian soldiers easily destroyed the drones with light weapons.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
Okay. Yes, Bill.
A Russian soldier threw an anti-tank backpack at the building where Ukrainian forces were located, causing a powerful explosion. Russian soldiers then quickly moved away from the scene. Later, Ukrainian soldiers tried to change positions and hide in another building. At that moment, a Su-34 fighter jet from the Russian Air Force dropped a FAB-3000 bomb on the temporary staging area where Ukrainian forces were located. An enemy PVD in the Krasnoarmysk direction was destroyed by a precision strike with a Russian Kh-38 missile. According to objective surveillance, they intended to use this building as a temporary first aid center. The building sustained heavy damage after the attack. A Russian FPV drone encountered 3 Ukrainian soldiers during reconnaissance. The soldiers fired at the drone but failed to shoot it down. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Bridges in the Ambarn and Udi settlements in the Kharkiv region were destroyed by drone strikes. Calculations were made by the 83rd Motorized Infantry Regiment of the Sever Group and the Russian FSB Border Guard Service. Previously, the Ukrainian armed forces had laid mines on the bridges in case of a retreat, and the drones detonated these mines. North of Chasiv Yar, the reconnaissance unit of the North V Brigade detected an enemy ground UAV, a kamikaze car, approaching Russian positions. Brigade operators immediately launched an attack UAV, which successfully struck the target. The situation for Bandera supporters in the direction of Kharkiv is extremely difficult. The roads here are completely under the control of FPV drones. Ukrainian forces are effectively deprived of the ability to maneuver freely and reinforce the front lines with equipment or supplies. In this section of the front, FPV drones are not only a tactical advantage, but also a strategic tool for strangulation. The 68th Separate Reconnaissance Battalion of the 20th Guards, Motorized Rifle Division, which is part of the 8th Guards Combined Arms Army. Separate Reconnaissance Battalion of the 20th Guards Motorized Rifle Division of the 8th Guards Combined Arms Army, destroyed Ukrainian armed forces vehicles used for transporting personnel and ammunition in the Razino, Konstantinovka, and Yablonovka regions using kamikaze UAVs. The precise strikes rendered the vehicles inoperable, disrupting the enemy's logistics and rotation. Russian soldiers are resting in the direction of Sumy. Those who want to sleep are sleeping. Those who want to eat are eating.
Хер вы мне аппетит испортите.
У командира так сон крепче.
Мимо гребни.
The Russian soldier hid under the branches of a fallen tree to avoid enemy drones, but was still spotted by the enemy drone operator. However, by sheer luck, the warhead did not explode, likely due to a manufacturing defect or the drone getting caught on the protruding branches. It seemed like that was the end, but the Russian fighter could think of nothing else but to capture the FPV drone and crash it into the trunk of a nearby tree. Luck, once again, decided to save him and spared him from the possible consequences. Striking images. Soldiers from the 42nd Guards Brigade reached Ukrainian positions in a damaged BMP, returned fire, and returned with a burning vehicle. This incident occurred during an attack on a heavily fortified brick factory in Mala Tokmachka, Zaporizhia Oblast. A tank and 2 armored vehicles were deployed. The rear vehicle was hit almost immediately, but the crew managed to complete their mission, including evacuating the soldiers. Kursk border region, Glushkovo district. A shelter for Ukrainian soldiers was identified in the Novi Put settlement area, and 2 soldiers who entered it were targeted. Russian drones reached Ukrainian positions in the village of Orlovka. Videos of Russian Geran drones have increased recently. In particular, the number of Geran attacks targeting Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, is increasing every day. Russian Geran technology has been updated, and the attack technique has also been changed. They fly at extremely high altitudes, and when they reach the target, they dive at a 90-degree angle toward the target. Russian UAV operators detected the location of Ukrainian armed forces soldiers in a forest and sent an FPV UAV equipped with fiber optic cable to monitor them. The shelter hit by the UAV quickly abandoned its position and fled without waiting for a second attack. If they had not left their position, they would have encountered a second attack. A raid on Ukrainian armed forces positions in the Sumy region. Russian FPV drones spotted and shot down hiding infantry in dense trees. In addition, the soldiers' UAV control points, bunkers, electronic equipment, and ammunition depots were destroyed. Oleksandro Kalinov direction. Received information from an Allied unit that Vysushniki was moving on positions near Hrodivka. The Rubicon unit launched a series of attacks against the enemy infantry. The BC and another mobile vehicle filled with personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine were shot down by the FPV drone VT-40. The explosion of the BC was observed in the objective control frames. Russian assault troops threw a backpack full of TM-62 anti-tank guns into a bunker in the direction of Seversk and fled. The bunker was destroyed in one powerful explosion. Footage of the attack by the artillery of the 3rd Combined Arms Army of the Southern Troops to destroy the UAV control center of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and the building where the soldiers were stationed. Seversk direction. Ukrainian Armed Forces troops planned to use this building for temporary deployment. Russian reconnaissance drones were watching them, but they didn't know it. After all the soldiers had entered the house, Russian UAVs went into action and destroyed the house. The position was destroyed. In another direction, a Russian attack drone during reconnaissance spotted an ATV vehicle in which a soldier was traveling. The drone accelerated and caught the ATV. Combat work of reconnaissance units of the 37th Independent Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Vostok Group of the Russian Armed Forces in Buryatia. These troops are carrying out continuous FPV attacks to cut off the logistics of Ukrainian troops in the South Donetsk direction. UAV operators of the 77th Separate Reconnaissance Battalion of the 127th Motorized Rifle Division of the 5th Army of the Vostok Group destroyed a previously mined bridge near Kamishevata. Powerful explosions were captured on the objective camera. New images from the fighting in the Seversk direction. Reconnaissance units of the Yuzhnaya Group, with the help of FPV UAVs, burned a T-72 tank of the armed forces of Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that UAV operators of the 7th Guards Airborne Division destroyed infantry near the settlement of Plavny in the Zaporizhzhia region, disrupting the rotation of the Airborne Forces Command. ATV crew flee in panic after spotting Russian drones. The ATVs they left behind were destroyed. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Footage of the destruction of 2 Ukrainian pickups in Kharkiv region. The enemy's movement is under full control of the northerners' FPV calculations. Any vehicle lagging behind or moving in the direction of the LBS is instantly destroyed. In the Seversk direction, artillery from Russian reconnaissance troops destroyed another Ukrainian armed forces UAV control center. Footage from Kupiansk shows the destruction of a Ukrainian armed forces pickup truck equipped with various electronic warfare devices. The destruction of a rare 2S7 Pion self-propelled gun and HMMWV armored vehicle belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in the Krasnolimanska direction by fiber-optic UAV operators attached to the 144th Motorized Rifle Division. The epic destruction of a Ukrainian radar station in the Chernigiv region. Garin observed the ST-68 36D6 radar station near the village of Borzna. UAVs hit the target accurately, leaving no chance for escape.